Hello, ¿cómo te vas? We are on chapter 29 on page 226. So this actually has a title to the chapter. It's called Jefferson's Diary. So I believe that we're going to be reading about the wording of Jefferson's writing, and I can already tell that it's really bad grammar, so it's going to be really hard to read, but I think this really adds like character to the book in general, you know? Like we're getting Jefferson's perspective of things, so yeah, looking forward to see what kind of stuff he's written down, you know? So it's about 10 pages or so. Alright, so we're going to start. Jefferson's Diary. Mr. Wiggin, you say write something, but I don't know what to write. And you say I must be thinking about things I ain't telling nobody. And I order put it on paper, but I oughter put it on paper, but I don't know what to put on paper 'cause I ain't never wrote nothing but homework. I ain't never wrote a letter in all my life 'cause Nana used to get other children to write her letter and read her letter for not me, so I can think of too much her letter and read her letter for her, not me, so I can't think of too much to say, but maybe next time. It's evening and I done eat my rice and beans and I done had my cup of milk and the sun coming in the window 'cause I can see it splashing on the floor and I can hear Ned and them talking, but I can hear Ned and them talking, and that's about all for now. I couldn't sleep last night 'cause I kept dreaming it, and I don't want dreaming it 'cause I'm just walking to somewhere, but I don't know where it's at, and before I get to the door I wake up, and I want to write it in the tablet last night, but you ain't got no light in your but the moon, so I'm writing this morning and sun up, but now I don't forget what I want to say. Nana brought me some Easter eggs, and I eat one, and Nana eat one, and Reverend Ambrose he eat one, and Reverend Ambrose asked me if I know why the Lord died. He say he died for me so I can meet him in heaven, and all he want me to do is say I want be up there with him and the angels, and say if I mean it will with all my heart and soul, I'll go to heaven. And Nana start crying again, and Miss Lou got to hug her, and Nana say all I need to do and make her life worse living is ask the Lord to forgive me and the pardon of my sin and her. And Reverend Ambrose was on their knee, and Miss Lou was still in the chair hugging her, and I was glad when Paul come and got me. I don't know what day is it, but last night I couldn't sleep, and I could hear Ned down the way, and I could hear and I could hear Ned down the way noon, and I lay there and thought about Samson, saying if the Lord loved me, how come he let my wife die and leave me, and then cheering, and how come he don't come here and take my people like them, meeting brothers on the St. Charles River, instead of messing with po old folks who ain't never done nothing but try and all they know how to serve him. It looks like the Lord just working white folks, 'cause ever since I wasn't nothing but a little boy, I been on my own hauling water to the field on that old water cart with all them dime buckers, and the dipper just hitting on old Derby, just strutting and me up in the hitting her with that rope, and all them dime buckets on the dipper just hitting against that ball of water so I can get the pebble they food and they water on time, and people see me and drop they hoe and come and get they bucket 'cause they know they string or they mark on the top, and Boo sitting under the bloodweed with his wife. Beans and rice gone where he Beans and rice and Guan where he at his your minute. How come he don't give a man a little breeze if he so merciful? And his ratchet with her rice and greens, saying, keep it up, just keep it up, and see a clap of Lytton, don't come there and knock the fool out. You and Boo saying, let him, I don't care, 'cause a dead nigger is better off alive on any weekday, and Sadie, I'm getting drunk, and say it again, and Sadie standing in the middle of the road hauling up in the air, saying come on and get me, come on and get me, see me if I care, and falling down in the ditch and rolling out in the road and holding up the bottle so the Lord could see it, and rolling back in the ditch and rolling back on the road and drinking and hauling the bottle up so the Lord could see it again. I know you don't love nobody white folk, 'cause you they God, not mine, and come on, do you listening if you want, 'cause no nigger ain't got no God, in the church going people closing they doors and windows to keep from hearing boo, blaspheming the Lord, but me at the rest of the cheering ain't a quarter like boo, 'cause he always bought us candy and cake. So he's talking about Boo here. I don't know who Boo is. Boo? B-O-O? Is he white? I don't know. I just can't sleep no more, 'cause every time I shut my eyes, I see that door, and before I get there, I wake up and I don't go back to sleep, 'cause I don't want to walk to that door no more, 'cause I don't know what back there, if it's where they go and put that share, or if it's supposed to mean death or the grave or heaven. I don't know. If I wonder or if Boo went to heaven, 'cause I don't know. He didn't get religion fist. Mr. Wiggin, you say you like what I got here, but you say you still can't give me just a B, 'cause you say I ain't gone deep in my yet. And you know I can if I try hard, and when I ask you what you mean deep in me, you say you just say what's on my mind, so one day you can save the children, and I say I don't know what you mean, and you say I do know what you mean, and you look so tired sometime. Mr. Wiggin, I just feel like telling you I like you, but I don't know how to say this, because I ain't never said it to nobody before, and nobody ain't never said it to me. Jefferson likes Grant. Okay, so wait, something happened here. So he was all like, Mr. Wiggin, you say you like what I got here, but you say you still can't give me just a B, just a B. I don't know. Give me, Mr. Wiggin, you say you like what I got here, but you say you still can't give me you still can't give me a just a B, 'cause you say I ain't gone deep in me yet, and you know I can if I try hard, and when I asks you what you mean deep in me, you say just say what's on my mind, so one day you can be saved and you can save the children, and I say I don't know what you mean, and you say I do know what you mean, and you look so tired sometimes, Mr. Wiggin. I just feel like telling you I like you, but I don't know how to say. Oh, wait. So one day you can be saved and you can save the children, and I say I don't know what you mean, and you say I do know what you mean, and you look so tired sometimes, Mr. Wiggin. I just feel like telling you I like you, but I don't know how to say this, because I ain't never say it to nobody before, and nobody ain't never say it to me. I know I care for Nana, but I don't know if I love it. I don't know if love is care, 'cause cutting wood and hauling water and things like that, I don't know if that's love or just work to do, and you say that's love, but you say you know. I got mo and just that you say, and when I lay there at night and can't sleep, I try and think what you mean. I got mo 'cause I ain't done this much thinking and this much writing in all my life before. So he's writing more than he ever was. So Jeff likes Grant. Jeff is doing more writing. Should do this at the end. Okay, continuing. It's Monday and I ain't got but just a few days left, and I hope I see my Nana just one more time, 'cause I miss Lou. 'Cause no, I can see him one more time 'cause Miss Lou and Reverend Ambrose say she ain't faring too good and couldn't make it with them this time, but the Lord know, Mr. Wiggin, I hope I can see her one more time on this earth before I go. Is that love, Mr. Wiggin, when you want to see somebody bad? Bad, Mr. Wiggin, thank you for saying I'm doing B plus work, and you know that I ain't too far. The chef and Mr. Pitchett and Mr. Morgan come in the cell today, and Mr. Pitcher asks me how I'm doing. I tell him I'm doing all right, and he says yes, he can see I'm all right, and he asks me if I can do something for me, and I tell him no, sir, I'm all right, and he asks me if I want a brand new pencil with a penny erase on it, and I told him I would take the pencil, but I don't need the erase because you told me to just put down anything come in my head, and if it ain't right to scratch over it and go on. He say yes, go on, and he say yes, he can see that, and he asked me if I want him to sharpen my pencil, and I say yes, sir, and he sharpened my pencil on a teeny pearl handle knife, and I look at the knife, and I seen Mr. Pitchett look up at the chef Curdy, and Mr. Morgan and the chef look back at him, but Mr. Morgan never stopped looking at me like he was trying to figure me, and Mr. Pitchett asked me if I want the little knife, and I tell him yes, sir, I didn't mind, and he unhooked the little bow and chain from his belt, and he hand me the knife, and then chain, and he say it was all mine, and I say just for a few days, and you can have it back, and I held the little knife in my hand and the chain in my other hand, and just look at it, and I hear my pitcher say, well, I never hear Mr. Morgan say it ain't fiddly yet, and Mr. Pitcher say, you want double that bet you, wait, never mind, I say just for a few days, and you can have it back, and I held the little knife in my hand, and the chain in my other hand, I just look at it, and I hear Mr. Pitcher say, well, I hear Mr. Morgan say it and ain't pretty yet, and Mr. Bitches say you want double that bet, you want to at that trotter, and Mr. Morgan say still ain't fidder yet. Ola Clark been coming round to trying to act like a young man, but I can't. Old Clark been coming round to trying to act like a young man, but I can see in his face he ain't no good, and I don't even look at him when he asks me if I'm doing all right, and can he get me something. No, I just go on written in my tablet, and I don't care if he do see it after I'm dead and gone. Paul trying to be hood hod when he ain't, like he don't want to get too close to me no more, and all the time he is the only one round here to know how to talk like a young man to people I know. You, Paul, and I know old Clark, and I know you too, Chef Gurgey, and you, Mr. Pitchin, Mr. Morgan, all the rest of y'all. I just never say none of this before, but I know y'all ever last one of y'all. Lord have mercy, sweet Jesus, Mr. Wiggin, where all them people come from when you asked me if some children can come up here and speak to me. I didn't know you was meaning all them children in your class and just sitting there on the floor all quiet, and they came plain clothes looking at me, and I could see some was scared of me, but most was brave and spoke, and little cousin Estelle even come up and kissed me on the jaw, and I couldn't hold it back no more. Then after the children, here come the old folks, and looked like everybody from the quarter was here. Miss Julia and Joe and Miss Harriet and Aunt Agnes and Mr. Noman and Miss Sarah and Miss Lilia and Mr. Harry and Miss Lena and God know who all, and Mr. Folfola and Miss Philia with their beads and just praying, and all the people saying how good I look, and Lord have mercy, sweet Jesus, Mr. Wiggin, how you go back here in that suit. That suit looked like it half broke, sis, 'cause I remember Miss Rita got him that suit way back 10, 11 years back, and Babin like her know me, and Miss Rita saying he wants to say he glad to see me, and he want give me one his Aegis, and me just looking back, shaking my head, and I can't stop saying, old book, old book, old book. You want me once, you won't give me once, you won't give me one o' you eggins, but old book wouldn't turn it loose till Miss Rita had to tell him let go Buck a few times, and still Buck wouldn't turn loose. Still Miss Rita put it out of his hand and handed it to me, and Buck start babbing there. Little Miss Rita had to reach out her hand for me to give it back to her, and she give it back to Buck, and Buck put it back in his pocket and started rattling it with it, and all the others in the and all the others in there. And Miss Rita say she was show he want to give me something, that's why he want to come, and I told her He was alright. I didn't need nothing, but she say Bach wouldn't rest tonight if he didn't give me something, and she told him to give me a different one, and he didn't want to give me that. I gave an old book, looking way over yonder, keep rattling the marbles in his pocket, and just keep on looking way over yonder, rattling the marbles, till he found the little one he had in his pocket and handed me that. This was the first time I cried when they locked that door behind me. The very first time I just sat up on my bunk crying, but not let them see or hear me, 'cause I didn't want them to think about wrong, but I was crying 'cause of Buck and the marble he gave me, 'cause of the pebble come to see me, 'cause they had never done nothing like that for me before. I don't want sleep at night no more, just can't nap in the day while they go light and they go noise, 'cause I don't want them turn about the door, even times I shut my eyes. When they brought me in the room and I seen Nana at the table, I seen how old she looked and how tired she looked, and I told her I love her, and I told her I was strong, and she just looked old and tired and pulled me to her and kissed me, and it was the first time she never done that, and it felt good, and I let her hold me long if she want, 'cause you say it was good for her, and I told her I was strong, and she didn't need to come back no more, 'cause I was strong, and she just sat there with her eyes most shut like she wanted to go to sleep, looking at me all the time till Reverend and Miss Lou have to head her up and take her back home. Oh man, this is terrible. Mr. Wiggin, when I see your girlfriend and you all together, I see how pretty she is, and I'm sorry how I talked that day when I was mad at you and say them nasty thing about her, 'cause she's so pretty and slim, so pretty when she look at people, and you can see that she ain't putting on airs, and it's just collie in her, and she talks so nice to people, and all the time I want to look at her but scared to, 'cause she's so pretty and I'm so ugly, and she got on a pretty dress with pretty flowers, and my clothes don't smell good, and I ain't took a bath since that Saturday, but I still want look at her, and she say she think I'm looking good and strong, and when she put her hand on my shoulder, I start trembling, and she leaned close and kissed me, and I feel hot, and I could smell her powder scent, and I feel good and scared and hot, 'cause that's the first lady that pretty ever touched me, and nobody that pretty never kissed me, and when y'all left I can come to the door, and I looked at her long enough, and I could smell her powder scent and still feel her mouth on my face. I'm sorry I cry, Mr. Wiggin. I'm sorry I cry when you say you ain't coming back tomorrow and strong, and Reverend Ambrose gonna be here with me, and Mr. Harry coming to a reason, and I cry 'cause you've been so good to me, Mr. Wiggin, and nobody ain't never been that good to me, and make me think I'm somebody. Chef Gridry asked me if I want for my supper, and I told him I want Nana to cook me some okra and rice and some pork chop as a cornbread and some kava, and he said he gonna see what he can do and say what I want for dessert, and I told him just a little ice cream in a cup and a moon pie. They took me and let me stand under the shower with a new bar of soap, and they give me a big white clean towel of brought me back, and I put on some clean clothes and sat down because my food was here, and I ate it in a bit, and it was the best meal I know my Nana ever cooked. Sun going down, and I know this is the last one I'm going to ever see, but I'm not. I'm going to see one more sunrise, 'cause I ain't going to sleep tonight. I'm going to sleep a long time after tomorrow. Chef Gridley come by after I ate and asked me how I'm doing, and I say I'm doing alright, and he asked me, he can say I never pick up your tablet and looking at it, and he asked me what I've been writing, and I told him just things, and he said, and he done treat me right, and I told him yes sir, and he say his deputies don't treat me fair, and I told him yes sir, and he say he don't let people visit me any time, and I say yes sir, and he didn't let me, and he didn't let, and he say he let the children and all the people from the quarter come and visit me just 2 days ago, and I say yes sir, and he says you can put that in your tablet, and I say yes sir, and he say good, put that down in your tablet, and I tell you good all the time you've been here, and he say he had to go home 'cause he hadn't his supper yet, but for me to call a deputy if I need something, and he asked me if I want to the light to stay on all night, and I said, in case I want to write some more, and I told him, yes, sir, and he say, all right, and I could have all the light I want. My light on, but there ain't no more light on in the place. At the place is quiet, no, but nobody's sleeping. They got a moon out there, and I can't see the leaves on the tree, but I ain't gonna see no more leaves after tomorrow. I don't know if they going to heaven, 'cause Samson say they can be, and Boo say they ain't known for the nigger. There ain't no none for no nigger, but Reverend Ambrose say there is one for all the men, and Bach don't know. I've been shaking and shaking, but I'm gonna stay strong. I ain't had no business going there with Brother and Bear, 'cause they ain't no good, and I'm gonna be meeting them soon. It's quite quiet, and I can hear. It's quite quiet, and I can hear my feet, teeth hitting, and I can hear my heart. When I was a little boy, I was water boy and rode the car, but now I got to be a man and sit in that chair. Don't know if you can read this, Mr. Wiggin. My hand's shaking, and I can hear my heart. I can hear Andy, but I ain't listening no more, 'cause he for the living and not for me. It's late, and I don't know what time. It's late, and I don't know what time it is, but I know it's late, and I just went to the toilet, and I just washed my face. Day breaking, sun coming up. The bird in the tree sound like a bluebird. Sky blue, blue, Mr. Wiggin. Goodbye, Mr. Wiggin. Tell them I'm strong. Tell them I'm a man. Goodbye, Mr. Wiggin. I'm going to ask Paul if he can bring you this. Sincerely, Jefferson. Sincerely. Oh man, I got a little emotional. I'm sorry. That was pretty tough. Like, it was hard to read, but man, can you just imagine how many other black people had to go through this? Like, even though it's nonfiction, this book is nonfiction, but I mean, even though this book is fiction, like, people were trialed, like, in the same situation, people were falsely accused, put in jail, and I don't know, that was very emotional. I don't know what to say. Well, Jeff is pretty much, wow, and he saw all these people coming up and saying, showing him love, something he never saw, and he saw a pretty girl, Vivian, kiss him, and even though he was gross and dirty, she kissed him, and he said he's never had a pretty girl kiss him, and he's never had so many nice people do nice things for him. And all those things happen in jail, someplace he never experienced. Wow, that's a very touching chapter. I wonder what Jefferson was like. Is there a movie to this book? Because this is a great movie. This is a great book. I'm really like, I can't believe I never discovered this book until now. It's a great lesson before dying. Wow, this is crazy. Well, that was chapter 29. Very emotional. It ends on 234. We're like less than 20 pages away. The last page is on 256, and we're on 235. I don't know if I kind of want to finish. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Goodbye.